It's all a bunch of hocus pocus. This is a hocus pocus cake topper. And if you made it smaller, you could use it with cupcakes. But this particular one here is made out of wood. And then it's been painted black, but it's not actually going to be used in a cake. If you're going to be putting this in food, you're going to want to make it out of acrylic. And that's what we're going to do here. Let's make one out of black acrylic. This is an 1/8" acrylic sheet. You see there's a little hole over here because every acrylic sheet I get, I always do a test on to make sure that my settings are correct. And the settings here for a 40-watt laser, and I'm using the longer B1 because it's on the table. It's a 40-watt laser, and my settings for cutting this 1/8" black acrylic is 480 millimeters per minute, 100% power, 2 passes. Will it do it on 1 pass? Yeah, sort of. But we don't want any little oopsies, so always have that second pass on there. Yeah, I could slow it down some more and do it 1 pass, but you get a nice, cleaner cut this way. So I'm going to get this set up on the laser here, and we'll get this cutting. So where did I get this design? No, I didn't make this. This was purchased from a site called designbundles.net. You probably heard me mention it before. We buy a lot of designs from there, and that's where this design came from. And to find this, you go on designbundles.net and click on cake topper or laser cut cake topper, or you can look in the description where I'll have a link to this particular one. There's a lot of different designs you can get. Again, if you're going to be actually sticking them in food, don't use wood, use acrylic. It can be washed and sterilized a lot better than you can with wood, and that paint is probably not food safe. And I doubt if the glue inside this 1/8" plywood is food safe either, so err on the side of caution, use acrylic. So we'll get this set up on the laser, and we'll get to cutting here. I've got my acrylic in place there, and I have framed it. Now your acrylic sheet will come with a layer of protective paper on both sides. You can either remove it before or you can remove it after. It makes no difference as far as how well the laser will cut it. However, removing it afterwards when you have any kind of fine intricate designs in there is a royal pain in the rear, so I remove it ahead of time. So we've got this framed. I'll just hit start and away we go. You may need to clean a few little pieces out on the finer cuts, but otherwise, a bunch of hocus pocus. Get this over where you can see it better. Okay, so the one on the right is what we just cut out of the black acrylic, and incidentally, as we're talking about acrylic, when you purchase your acrylic, make sure you buy cast acrylic and not extruded. It's a huge difference on what kind of results you're going to get. You definitely want to use cast acrylic. Okay, that said, you'll also want to wash that. Some dish soap and water and rinse it off just like you wash your dishes before you would ever stick that in any food. The one on the left, again, is made out of 1/8" plywood and then painted flat black. Would not use that in food. If you had some maybe Halloween decoration you were putting together, that worked just fine, and it's obviously cheaper than buying acrylic. Just, again, don't use painted wood like that in any food you're going to be eating. Little after done with the video edit here, I took that in and showed it to the wife, and she's, well, make some of those that are smaller for cupcakes. So I downsized it. This is a 4-inch, this is a 6-inch. So yes, you can downsize that very easily in Lightburn. If you're not using a full-size cake or you want to do cupcakes or something smaller, feel free to make them smaller. So there we are, a bunch of hocus pocus. Cake topper, black acrylic. I'll put a link in the description on where I purchased this file from. It came from designbundles.net. And I will also put links in the description on where I got the cast acrylic that I used for this, and probably put a link in there for the laser too. I'm sure Longer would like to send you one of those. Again, it was a Longer B1, 40 watt. So one of the questions I'm going to get is, well, I've got like a 20 watt laser. Do I do twice as many passes, the same settings? Not necessarily. You need to do a test. Just make a little 1/2-inch circular square and start out with a baseline. Let's say you got a 20 watt. Try maybe 300 millimeters per minute, 100% power, 3 passes. If that doesn't work, pop it up, make 4 passes, or do an actual material test grid in Lightburn. There's a lot of different ways you can do it, but every laser is different. I may take another Longer B1 set right next to this, or maybe my X-Tool S1, which is also a 40 watt, and it may not take the exact same settings. It's just, they're different. So you need to do your own settings. We tell everybody that. It's a question that comes up quite a bit on our live stream. What settings do I use? Well, depends on the material, depends on the laser, depends on how many hours are on it. Is the lens clean? You know, it's another thing too, is keep your lens clean. That'll make a big difference on your performance of your laser. So if you got anything out of this, appreciate getting a thumbs up, always helps the channel. Roger in the shop, little Halloween cake topper. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.